So if you are learning AWS in 2024 or are planning to enter cloud and you have chosen AWS as the cloud provider, I think this video is going to be important for you. So Answers for AWS is an yearly survey that I personally participate in, but I think you should, watch it closely because it has some astonishing results, and I think you should pay attention to these services that were selected in different categories as to what you should be learning and paying more attention to. Talking about the Answers for AWS survey, here's the survey itself. And please let me know in the comments if you do want a detailed version, as for this video, it's going to be a short one, just focusing on each tool or service that you should be learning within the category that are mentioned over here. So as you can see, there were 426 responses, which is 30%, almost 30% more than the last year, right? So here's why you should be paying attention to this survey, is because if you look at the demographics, there are 45% people aged between 35 to 44, and then 25% between 25 to 34. But there were 37% people who have 6 to 10 years of experience with AWS. And most of them were developers or engineers. And the second half, which is around 24%, is of solutions architect or system architects. So, these are people that are working with AWS in the field. And I think that's why you should be looking at these results. So for people who are wondering what kind of IAC tool they should be using, so my recommendation based on this survey is Terraform, which, I've been telling you since last 2 years that Terraform, due to its cloud agnostic nature, and, it was open source, but is not anymore. But that aside, the cloud agnostic nature and the adoption within the industry makes it a really good tool for infrastructure as code. So if you're wondering what you should be learning for IAC, it should be Terraform. But as you can see, when we look at the usage, CloudFormation is at 84%. But when we look at the retention, people who are using Terraform are staying with Terraform. And when it comes to awareness, almost 99% of people are aware about Terraform. And when it comes to interest, if you want a second tool that you want to explore, I would pick CDK, which is picking traction and is kind of in the buzz right now. So Cloud Development Kit, also known as CDK, you should check it out. So that is infrastructure as code. Moving on to CI/CD, GitHub Actions, hands down. Again, GitHub Actions is something that I use for my CI/CD pipelines. And according to the survey, it beat every other service or provider in every year. So usage-wise, it's at top. Retention-wise, it's at top. Same thing with awareness and interest. So no questions. You should be learning GitHub Actions if you are looking for a CI/CD tool. For serverless, it is going to be Lambda from me. So I would say, learn about Lambda. I think it's a great, tool to have in your skill set. SAM is picking up. So once you learn Lambda, start looking at SAM or CDK. CDK fits into. So that kind of path would be my go-to. So start with Lambda, SAM, and then look into CDK. As you can see, when it comes to retention, we have CDK on top. But when it comes to awareness, serverless framework, which I had no kind of, surprise, because serverless framework has been around for a while now. But we are looking at CDK again under the interest section, that people are more interested in CDK. Moving along, containers, ECS, no questions. You should be learning ECS if you're looking for a container service within AWS, followed by Fargate. But what's also interesting is Lambda for running containers. I personally have been exploring it and I love it. So look into Lambda for containers. As you can see, this was like a shared interest with other developers and engineers too, that 81% of people were interested in Lambda for running containers. NoSQL database, again, DynamoDB is similar to what we saw with GitHub Actions with CI/CD. So DynamoDB is winning out all the different categories. So go ahead and learn DynamoDB if you're looking for NoSQL databases. And then moving on to AI and ML, even though OpenAI just came out last year, 2023, the usage has been, as you can see, quite good. So the adoption was pretty quick. You have 58.6% of people using OpenAI compared to Amazon SageMaker. Same thing with retention. You can see OpenAI being at 94%, awareness also at 96 for OpenAI. And then interest-wise, Amazon Text Track is something that people are interested in learning. So with OpenAI and SageMaker, for OpenAI, it will be learning about their models, how their API works, and how you can leverage their API into your own applications if application development is something you're doing. But with SageMaker, it's more about the machine learning pipelines and how you can train certain models and what offerings SageMaker has and how you can, kind of deploy those models. So I think the mix of OpenAI and Amazon SageMaker is a good skill set. So like those tools would be my go-to if you're interested in AI and ML. That is pretty much it for this video. So I mentioned all the different categories that this survey was taken in and what tools you should be focusing on or what services you should be focusing on. I hope this helps you kind of build a roadmap for yourself if you are just starting out to learn cloud computing, or you have just started out learning AWS and it's your first time learning this cloud provider. So I hope you found this video insightful, and I wish you luck on your learning journey. Peace.